Monday morning, 6:57 a.m. So just sitting here this morning, getting ready for another work week. This will be my last work week before my vacation time, which is next week, and I really don't have any plans just yet. I kind of thought about it, and I thought, originally I had plans to go to this place and that place, just simple day trips mostly. But then I've kind of scrapped those plans, but I guess I say I've scrapped them. I've scrapped them, but not exactly. I still kind of want to do them, but I'm sort of taking it day by day just to see how I'm feeling. If I'm really tired, then I won't do anything. I'll stay at home. I'll stay around home. And if I'm feeling good, then I'll go out. Most likely, I'll probably end up spending a day or two in Seoul. That's kind of the easy day trip. And it's also the trip that I should be able to make without too much planning. During the summer vacation time, sometimes you have to plan quite a bit for different things because of everybody in the country practically being on vacation at the same time. And as a result, everything gets really expensive. Everything gets really crowded. So, it's kind of like it takes a little bit of planning trying to find a cheap place to stay if you're going out of town and staying out of town. And also takes a bit of planning to think about like times to leave and best days to travel when maybe the traffic won't be as bad. Things like that. Nothing major, not major planning, but just things to think about. So anyway, who knows what I'll be doing next week? We'll decide later on. But for this week, I'll be in the office doing my planning for the second semester of the year, trying to get my schedule all put together and making lessons and things like that. Just general preparations, which are very needed. It's tough during the normal weeks a lot of the times to get everything planned out and done. So doing as much in advance as you can during these, 1 or 2 week downtimes are the best. So that's kind of what I've got going on. As for everything else, this past weekend on Saturday, I took out the pinhole camera and I shot it, I was sitting there shooting Fomapan 100. I had, mostly 7-second exposures, and these are rough 7-second exposures. And after developing them, I could have probably shot them at probably like 5 seconds or, something like that. But I was leaning toward a bit of overexposure. So I probably could have knocked that down to 4 seconds, 5 seconds instead of 7. But I was going for overexposure because I'd rather have a little bit too much than not enough, I guess you would say. So but it worked out pretty well. I do want to redo my pinhole. I want to try to make a bit of a finer pinhole. The one that I made is working and it does the trick, but I want to kind of refine that a little bit, which is good with the pinhole camera that I have because it's really simple to change out the pinhole. I simply have to just pop it out and pop in a new one. And the way it goes together, it actually has a kind of ring on the front of the lens cone that screws onto the lens cone. So basically, I just take a Coke can, I cut myself a little circular piece, punch the pinhole. I put some felt on the back of it. That way it screws down, locks down tight, and no light can get in except through the pinhole, And so I do that, and yeah, it works out really well, honestly. And the photos that I took, they were decent. They were decent. Like I said, I think if I had done the exposures a bit better, they would have been better. But, like I said, this was just a test run, kind of seeing how it was going to do. But I'm really looking forward to shooting this more often. And I had shown my buddy Hans, I had shown him the photo of it, and he said he wanted one. So last night I started to print one for him. I printed the first parts, which are the circular parts. I have my print files. I have them grouped. I have circular parts, flat parts, and the body. There are two body parts. There's a front and a back. And so I printed the circular parts yesterday. I'll print the flat parts today, and I'll print the two body pieces probably the next day. So over the next 2 or 3 days, I'll get it completely printed for him. And next time we meet up, I'll give him his copy, and without a pinhole or anything, he can make his own pinhole. I'll let him do that, so he can decide what size or how he wants to make it or whatever. Like I said, it's simple. It's just a soda can with a hole in it that attaches. But everything else I'll assemble for him. I will sand it all down so that it goes together nicely. Because in the parts where it joins together, it has to be sanded down smoothly. Otherwise, it doesn't go together, well. Or well, I say it doesn't go together well. It actually probably goes together too well, because I made the mistake of not sanding mine the first time I put it together. And as a result, I almost couldn't get it back apart. Like, it was so tight and so stuck together that I thought I was going to break it trying to pull the camera apart. But after I did get it apart, I sanded all of it down, smoothed all of it down, so that now it just slides together very easily. But it's still very tight. It slides together easily, but it's still very tight, that it's not coming apart or popping apart, which is nice. But yeah, so the pinhole. During this whole thing, I had finished my pinhole shots, and that was the only camera that I had with me. And I was walking back to the car, and I saw an interesting scene. I saw a guy coming down the road with his cow pulling a cart. And something you don't see very often, a guy with a cow pulling a cart. And I didn't have a camera with me, a digital camera other than my phone. I wasn't going to take a photo with the phone. I didn't have any film cameras with me other than the pinhole, and I had run through all my shots. So I just stood there and just watched him kind of walk by. And yeah, that was nice. I just stood there and watched. Sometimes, just taking in the scene. And that was pretty cool. Like I said, I would like to find out who he is and try to go back out and see if I couldn't take photos just with him. But I'm sure that will never happen. I'm sure I'll never find out who he was or see him again, but we can always hope. So yeah, so anyway, I'm going to wrap things up right there on this Monday morning, and catch you next time. Peace.